Rae fills the white space that exists. We believe well-being shouldn't have to be a full-time job. It should be really attainable, drinking an extra glass of water, standing, during Zoom calls. It should be accessible. And accessibility doesn't just mean price, it means easily understood and comprehended. And in this category, there's a whole lot of opportunity there in supplements. And lastly, it should be for everyone. And so you see that play out, in the team we hire, in our marketing, in our voice, and certainly as we're furthering the next generation of women.
And when you look at the broader health and wellness landscape, I think there's been increasing focus from the mainstream in topics that are wellness oriented and wellness related. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges that women face today as it relates to their health and wellness?
Yeah. What is so exciting is, some say the wellness industry will approach 7 trillion globally and grow by 60% in the next, 5 years. And so that is so exciting because that is an indicator in a lot of ways on a number of things. First, I think the definition of wellness has forever changed. It's about mind and body together. It's about how that's done in a bespoke way for each consumer. Some are deciding to meditate, some are deciding to biohack, right? And so it's creating really interesting pockets of wellness. You cannot tease apart these days beauty versus wellness. What does that even mean? So what's exciting about that is the definition is changing because of the access to information and opening doors to new products and experiences in the global landscape. So I think the definition is changing. I think secondly in the space, it's gonna continue to be all about access. The pandemic showed us in the last couple of years the true health and wellness inequity is a bigger issue. We knew it was a big issue, but a bigger issue than I think a lot of us knew. And so it's going to continue to support movement toward access. It's going to continue to support movement toward proactive versus reactive from a consumer perspective, but also from an investment perspective. And personally, you now know the mission of the brand. I'm just so passionate about access. And to see the trends that have existed for the 1% or only on the coast becoming accessible in price to so many incredible women has just been fun.
When you think about sort of solving for some of the unmet needs, would you say it's that access to education and information? I know Rae has strong partnerships with doctors and nutritional psychiatrists, registered dietitians. So just curious to, get your take on how you're solving for some of those challenges.
We did a survey last fall involving 2,000 25 to 35-year-old millennial women, asking a multitude of questions. And that is continuing to help us, address unmet needs. We found that the biggest health concerns for women in that age demo were stress. 61% of women are concerned about stress, 53% on mental health, 46% on sleep. And so for us, that is continuing to kind of further this notion of the why and making sure that you have a spirit of community and conversation, but then additionally that holistic view of all these territories. What is the root cause of what? Are you stressed out because you're not sleeping? And are you not sleeping because of the stress? And so for us, for all those reasons, it was just important to address mind and body across all the facets that she's thinking about on a daily basis.
And Angie, I wanted to ask you about the importance of brand as it relates to the consumer in the vitamins and supplements industry at large. I think historically, more of the focus may have been around the specific ingredients, whether you're looking for vitamin C or vitamin D. What level of prominence or importance, do you think brand has today as it relates to key purchasing criteria for the consumer's wellness purchasing?
Yeah, I think this is an incredible question and so important because You know, the barriers to starting a company have been lowered in a lot of ways, right? And specifically in the space, but the barriers to scale have dramatically increased. And so I think the role that brand plays in that is really, really important, not just to the consumer, but the economics of the brand in a lot of ways. And so for us, to your point, it used to be about, I know I need vitamin D, so I'm going to go get vitamin D. Everything has become a lot more solution oriented.
How do you think about who your target audience is, and what characteristics define her, and what is she looking for when she's looking for a brand in the wellness space?
I love that you said characteristics, because that's how we think about it. We think about our consumer more on the psychographic level than we do on the demographic level. And so for us, vitamins and supplements isn't a small market, right? So we talked about 7 trillion globally wellness, 50 billion, that's global, 50 billion just in the US of a TAM, and it is growing really, really quickly. And so to think about all of our territories, to think about all of the consumers that exist, it's really important for us to think about it as a psychographic and go really, really deep on that psychographic. And for us, that is, she's on the journey. She's on her own wellness journey, and that starting and ending point is a little bit different for each one of us. But she's also aware of and wanting to improve her health and wellness. And that involves mind and body together. And so in a lot of cases, she has tried supplements. In some cases, she has not. And we're introducing her to a different way of taking care of herself. And so our approach has always been, we think she's looking for a brand that is across multiple facets and is holistic, so that she's not having to, get something from here and get something from there. And it's funny because in said survey, a third of our respondents said that they struggle to find a wellness routine that works for them. We took an omni-channel approach at the very beginning. We knew that would be the unlock for scale. We knew that a lot of digitally native folks love to shop physically. And so for us, that's how we built our business model from day one, is based on scale. And then all the economics made sense around that business model. And so as we thought about partnerships, today we're at Target, we're, with 17 items across 2 aisles, we're at Whole Foods, we're at Sprouts, Amazon, a number of other, partners that you described. I think for us, those retailers are looking for a partner that is creating depth of brand. So back to the brand point, I think it's really, really important that brands stand for something that they are prevalent, and that they can do an amazing job, drawing consumers to a retail landscape when nobody's shopping retail, right? That discovery at shelf through COVID wasn't happening. And so brands couldn't rely on that. And so the digitally native part was important. But then for us, given everything that has happened in the digital landscape this year, it was really important to have a physical business model as well. So for us, I think the landscape will continue to change. But I think balance, right? Like it's mind and body and balance of business model. And so I think with everything in life, it's the same as it is in the company.